Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? So welcome to another guided meditation. I sent this like Zoom link super late. I don't know why. For whatever reason, I had like got everything ready, did like made the little Zoom link, started to put it in the email, and I thought I sent it, but then just totally pivoted to other things. So my bad for the short notice here. Um, I was kind of talking some trash before the class, which I love to. Um, and I guess just like bring that in really quick. I've been trying to kind of bring this change in framing around how we relate to our guides, and changing framing I think is really important to me. And so, I'm not typically teaching a technique because I don't really think technique is that important. I think like motivation, right? Like why we do something is the most important. And then from there, it's like how I view the thing, right? Like the there's my motivation, and then like there's the way that I relate to the thing altogether. And when those two are aligned, then you can make technique up. And a lot of the things that I've shared, I either made them up or I borrowed them from a different system, but I don't really think that's the special thing. I think what's special is the framework, like the worldview and the motivation that I bring to it. And that can't be like borrowed, right? Like that it's my authentic expression of those things. And then I'm inviting y'all to find your authentic expression of those things. And so, but technique, right? Like anyone can like watch a video and then you're like, oh my God, use a little fire and then like move it with the fire. And we can do that and it can be like really lame, right? Because without those deeper principles, I'll say then like we just scratch at the surface, but we kind of stay the same. So I know that's kind of a heavy statement, but just my opinion. So with guides, right, I often see a lot of traditions that are like, my guides are perfect, they know everything. And then, there's little me who is a little shenanigan who needs the help. And I'm often like making messes. I have all this trauma, all these things, right? And then my guides, I just have to kind of like purify myself enough or be lucky or be gifted so that my guides just help me out enough so that I become like them or something, right? And I think again, it's always around like a kind of like a perfection. I talk shit, right? So it's kind of about like kind of squeaky cleaning, like spraying Lysol on life so that it becomes kind of really sanitized. And then it's like you live happily ever after because you're now like your guides, right? And you can like manifest things. You have a perfect partner, you have a big ass house, people throw money at you, um, and nothing bad ever happens, right? And my shots fired at this is that one, it's really boring, right? Because I think you can manifest a perfect partner and they're going to need a lot from you. You know what I'm saying? Like I can manifest a perfect partner and like they need me to be in, like, right? They need me to fucking like show up. They need me to like be accountable. They need me to express my emotions, right? So a lot of times people are like, I want my perfect partner. Like partners show up and we're like, I want my perfect partner, but I don't want to have to like be fully in either. Like I want like a perfect partner who like also like just does what I want when I want, how I want. Like I don't know if that's like a thing. Like put it out to the universe, like please, please, please. And same thing, you're like, I just want money. And then like money's like waiting for us. They're like, come on, like, can you like work a little bit more, like invest, right? And I'm just like, but can't you just like come to me? And I'm like, come on, isn't that like an option? Um, and same thing with my guides, right? I'm just like asking my guides, I'm like, can't you just like dress me, get me ready for work, set my alarm for me, and then do most of the shift? And then they're like, nah, man, like that's you. And I'm like, okay, what if you do like half of my shift? Yeah, wait, that's not an option. And like I'm literally asking like these beautiful, bright, luminous beings to like carry my books and like do all of this like dirty work. So they're like on my lawn cleaning it, when this relationship actually, it's not leveraged. um in the sense that, like, my guides, I can ask them, should I stay with my partner or not, and they'll probably give me an answer. But the example I like to imagine, it's like having a Ferrari that I use to like prop the door open in the summer, and I don't even use it in the wintertime. In the wintertime, I just like leave it out, and there's like pigeons on it. And people are like, "Oh my God, your Ferrari! Like, do you ever use it?" I was like, "Oh, not really. We use it in the summertime, and it holds the door open when it's windy, so that it doesn't like hit the door frame, And they're like, they're like, that's not what I meant by using your Ferrari. But in my mind, I'm like, I do sometimes use the Ferrari. So what I'm trying to say is, like, these guides, engaging them on an equal level exponentially contributes to like the universe, and exponentially contributes to me, and it contributes to life and the unfoldment of it by engaging them and them engaging me. Without that, right, when they are just talking to me, then I'm just reinforcing like power differences and hierarchy. And typically a lot of people just like think they're special because they hear their guides. And the people, those of us that don't, we just think we're like not good enough. And so we're really just like kind of like just feeding the matrix, but spiritually. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, sometimes I like to feed the matrix with, with my spiritual understandings, right? And we really haven't popped outside of this box at all. Again, we're squarely within it. So what I want us to do in these like little meditations is just like look at one piece and just like hold it, and just like maybe like squish it and like scratch it and like shake it and spin it, right? To just see how we can bring a really radically different relationship to what, again, used to be a hierarchy. And I'll say used to be because maybe there were times in human history that we needed to have hierarchy, where our guides did know more than us, right? And that's cool. And I think a lot of lineages taught it that way because it probably was important, right? I don't know. But now I have found that it's possible easily for us to have this like really equal relationship with our guides, and we get to contribute to them a lot. And it's really fun that way. So we also kind of talked about reflections. And what I was saying was that, like, even to the earth, right, which is infinitely vast in comparison. And I don't think, I think a lot of times people are like, the earth and I are one. And I'm like, yeah, but like, if you die, the earth isn't just like, all right, Ken's gone, like, gotta go. And it's like, yeah, right? Like, yeah, we're one, but the earth and like the almost 8 billion people that live on it, right? They're also one, right? There's all these co-creation happening. So, my tiny part of overlap with the earth, I can overestimate my importance easily, right? Where I think I'm equally important. And I would say we are important to our families. We are important to so many people, right? But I wouldn't say I'm equally important. And I think it's important for myself, right? For these things to be very, as we touch these beautiful principles that are true, they should help us be more humble, and they shouldn't like feed our ego, which again is just the matrix, y'all. Like, ta-da, right? So yes, we are the earth, and also like my little ass is small and not equal in importance. Important, okay, for me. So, but from there, right, like, as I honor the earth and can reflect to the earth how much beauty it contributes, how it literally makes everything possible, how everything in our lives, like our physical bodies, our homes, all of the cool shit in it comes from the earth. And that beauty, that generosity, I can like hold that deeply in my body and offer that reflection to the earth. And literally just saying to the earth, like, thank you. Like, you made all of this possible. And you're incredibly generous and so patient. And like, you literally, and in a lot of the indigenous traditions, like the earth literally takes our shit and makes it into flowers. Like, how fucking beautiful is that? And by reflecting that back, I am offering something to the earth. And what I'm wanting us to do today is to see that by us honoring our guides who we could see as like infinitely powerful and wise. And, you know, when I think of beings like the Buddha, right? Like, they're probably perfect, right? And I can see them that way. And if the Buddha was in this body, I think he would still be talking shit, right? Like, I think he would still have issues with the traffic in Tucson. Enlightened, right? Like, whoa. If he got cut off, like, I think that would create some kind of engagement, right? I don't think he'd throw a chair, like, sorry, I'm just kidding, right? But that perfection would still be invited to move, right? The example I always give with this is like, you know, you can eat the most perfect, like 5 Michelin star, I don't even know if that's a thing, right? But I think it is a thing. So 5 Michelin star, 6-course meal, huge dessert, right? Like a lobster with caviar. I'm trying to think of all the cool shit, right? And literally on the drive home, be hungry again. And if hungry enough, like pull over and like get something from like Wendy's or something, right? Like, no matter how beautiful a meal, you will be hungry again. And when I think of enlightenment and when I think of perfect beings, I think that they're perfect enough to include contradiction, to include shenanigans, to include their emotions, right? And a lot of times we think of these perfect beings as like having like perfect equanimity, which they do, but that perfect equanimity means that they don't feel anything. They're just like, wow, my house is burning. And then they're like, oh, cool. I am falling in love with this person. You know, and they're like, oh, wow, there's a war happening, right? Like, I don't know about y'all, but that seems really like lame. Like, I don't know. I imagine these perfect beings to feel things deeply and to engage these things deeply and passionately and fiercely, right? And again, y'all can disagree, right? And I'm sure maybe people in my own lineage of Buddhism would disagree, right? But I would imagine that when the Buddha sees a war happening, they would like spontaneously manifest there in every expression and form that they could and engage that fully, like with eyes filled with tears, enraged, hurt, devastated, heartbroken, right? Like they would, again, in my opinion, they would do that fully. They wouldn't like manifest there and just like sit in lotus on a meditation cushion and be like, whoa, that's crazy, war, huh? And just sit there, like not feeling, right? Again, talking shit, but with our guides, right? The reason this all matters is because that is what we're offering them, is a point of connection to contradiction and shenanigans and experience that they don't get to have in their like floaty little worlds. Which is, that's what I think of my guides. They're just like floating around doing like cool things, right? And then here we are, hungry, thirsty, fighting, arguing with our partners, right? Like mom shit, dad shit, right? Like all of that is what it means to be human, right? And it's hard. It's hard to be a people. right? And by sharing that with them, they get to gain all this insight. And the same thing with the earth, right? Like the earth in all its beauty, we get to share like what's happening, right? We get to share what we're doing with that beauty. The beautiful parts, the complicated parts, the messy parts, sure, the ugly parts, right? But we get to like reflect that back. And again, as a framework, it takes, like the messiness that we experience and it makes it, instead of bad, or like, again, many times we're like, I'm sad and why am I sad? And I shouldn't be feeling this way, right? But no, it's like, I'm sad and that's a thing that I can offer to my guides to be like, hey, y'all, like, I feel super heartbroken today. And what do you guys think? How do you feel today? Have you ever been heartbroken? What's the best way to hold heartbreak? What's the lessons that heartbreak has? And these fools are going to scramble because they're just like, we don't know, probably, typically, right? Because again, depending on our guides, it may have been 100 lifetimes since they've had a physical body, like 1,000 years, maybe. And sometimes you can ask your guide, when was the last time they had a body? And they'll show you some shit, what I'm saying? Like the early 1500s. Sometimes, like, and I try not to project onto my guides, but yeah, sometimes you'll find them in their last physical form. Sometimes they haven't had a physical form maybe even ever, right? And so to share that, like, somebody hurt your feelings at work is gonna blow their mind because they've never had feelings. They've never like had a body, maybe, right? Again, they've never had a workplace, job descriptions, HR. I'm just like, bro, let me tell you something about HR real quick. And then they're like completely like tripping out, right? So that's the thing that we're offering. And it changes it because they probably don't have those experiences. And I hope that makes sense. It changes it because they go from being like all knowing and like, whoa, and then being like, holy shit, like I have no idea what those things are. And I'm like, I can talk a lot about being passive aggressive. I'm like, I actually wrote a short but very authoritative book on being passive aggressive that I would like to recite to you. And I'm like, Exhibit A, and I'm like, my ex coworker, and I'm like, here are four examples of how I'm passive aggressive with them. All right. And then they're gonna be like, whoa, oh my God. And that contributes to their understanding, like that unfurling a scroll, right? That contributes something to them that they can't get anywhere else, right? They can probably get it from other humans, but it's not like they could pop into like a chicken's body and learn about passive aggressive behaviors, right? Or like an amoeba. They can't be in a rock, right? Like it only happens in this human realm. And in other realms, I'm sure that they gain other really dope insight. And again, they do have incredible insight as a consciousness and as a being, but our lived experiences is the offering. It's what we're here doing. Like that's the whole point, right? Like the whole point of living, like what, people are like, why am I alive? Like, what's the point of life in general, right? Like it's to live. And it's to live really passionate, fierce, badass lives that we're proud of, right? But in this feeling sense, right? So then what better can we offer than that livingness, right? So to the earth, I offer like all of my hopes and dreams, all of the things I'm excited about, the things that I'm sad that I did or didn't do, right? And that offering with that full space, the earth receives that because the earth is the playground that creates the possibility of all of that intensity and engagement. And then again, our guides are going to sit there with popcorn completely enraptured because they they don't have those experiences. So like, it's like us watching reality TV, right? Like we're watching somebody's life, and but what's cool about it is you're just like watching somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of doesn't make any sense, right? Like why this stuff, like what is it, Keeping Up with the Kardashians? I don't think I've ever really watched it, but like, people like love that show, and it's just like you're just watching them. Like, well, it's probably staged, a lot of it, but we're watching them. Or I think about podcasts, right? And like we're literally like peeking into somebody's conversation. You're just like listening to their conversation, and like that's the transmission of that, like the blessing of that, is different than if I was in a college class, right? Like where a college class hits is like the intellect, right? That same professor hanging out with his professor friends and just a cool microphone there while they're exploring something cutting edge in their field, even if they're the expert amongst experts, right? They're going to be really excited about this one thing that they're exploring. And there's a different transmission, right? There's like literally we could just be blessed by the excitement that they bring to their field, even if I have no idea what they're talking about. So anyways, big ass tangents. I just have fun with this stuff, but we're going to do this with our guides. So another quick technical thing, lineages will put boxes in how we relate to our guides, and they'll even kind of make a box around the exchange. And it's cute because sometimes there'll be little symbols, kind of like, I think of it like a little bat symbol. So like once you get initiated into a tradition, and that could be in past lives, future lives, or once you start to build relationship with a particular being, oftentimes there'll be like a little squiggly thing in my aura that this being can then like pop in and out from. And I can explain that different, but if that makes sense. So like a quick example would be like, so if I tune into the Buddha, as I continue to tune into the Buddha, there starts to be a place where that energy can like fit in my energy bubble. What happens is that often lineages will put those places of exchange in boxes. And then what gets exchanged is they feed me. And sometimes like we give them life force, which is kind of a little weird. But unfortunately, that's what certain lineages do, right? So like in order to get connection from this lineage, like I give them some of like my vital energies or authentic energies. And a lot of like really unhealthy, like guru disciple relationships will have that type of exchange. With it, when it's with a person, it's often in our lower centers. So since I'm already in the weeds out here, so I better finish. So like certain gurus, you'll see them in somebody's like solar plexus or second center. And sometimes like that person's entire solar plexus will be in that person's guru. And so oftentimes there's all kinds of energy work that we can do to like recall our authentic energies. And also like there's all kinds of, let's say like contracts that could be completed so that like we can have autonomy and relate to the guru in a way that's like, again, on equal terms. But with guides, what happens is that lineages will often only give us permission to relate in this very hierarchical way, right? So in order to create that like equal engagement, right, we're going to kind of shatter some of those little symbols and replace them with dialogue and exchange, and make an offering of our hopes, dreams, excitement, what we're up to, what things we want to learn, and let our guides receive that like a meal, right? So instead of receiving our like physical energies and our vitality, they get to collaborate with us, and that collaboration is the energy exchange. So so them helping me help people. So right now that's my goal, right? Like right here, I'm like, I want to help y'all. So then I'm excited to help y'all. And then I invite my guides who are excited to help y'all. And so they don't tap my field. I don't give them my life force. It's like, we are excited to help. And that's the generative, like, boo, 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 thing that happens. Sorry, somebody had a meeting. So if that makes sense, it's by me articulating what I'm up to and asking what guides want to come with me that creates the exchange, right? It's not them like touching into my field and connecting because of, again, lineages, I've inherited them, contracts, soul level agreements, right? It's task specific, let's say. And then once I helped this particular group in the ways that I'm excited about, then a new set of guides can come in, new sets of goals can come in. Guides can be like, I don't really want to do that. And you're like, cool, right? Like, but we're engaging specifically. So it's like asking friends to go to a movie and they're like, okay, I'm down to go to a movie, but which one are you going to watch? And I'm like, well, I'm going to watch this one. And I don't know, my friends were talking about movies. There's a movie that came out that's about a game, right? And some of the friends were like, oh, that's cool, I'll go. And then some of the friends were like, yeah, I don't know, man, that sounds weird. And the same thing, like our guides get to engage in that way. So anyways, I talked way too much. So we're just gonna do it. We're gonna move through it real quick and hopefully get those things that I'm talking about. So we're gonna imagine that we're in our beautiful energetic container. And as always, this is created by the earth and the universe. And all of us here who's listening to this as a recording, listening to this live. And I talked a whole lot. And I did because this topic of guidance it's really important. And so as I'm sharing all these things that are my opinion, just imagine like your guides, vaster guidance, the earth, the universe can just start to bring all of the resources in to create this bubble. There you go. And truly in this space, it's so, so, so important that like our inner wisdom is in charge. Good. Where all of us is welcome, where resistance can come up and be held. And also where we're doing some like cutting edge shit. We're not just trying to unlock, what our ancestors did or what other traditions did. We're trying to like unlock and engage with what hasn't been done yet, what used to not be possible. So that not only can we be like up to date, but we can also be moving towards what's new. Good. And so we're just going to jump in. So we're going to refresh our individual connections to the earth. We're going to have our guides recall our authentic energies. Perfect. Good. Let's just kind of scan the edges of our aura. And we can put magnets in front of us and behind us and just start releasing any energies that are stuck or blocked. Releasing any heaviness from our day, our week, our weekend. There you go. As we bring those earth energies up, let them start to hold any emotions in our body, any tensions in our body. And just allow those to gently open and heal. Perfect. And then we're going to make a little symbol to represent everything that we think we know about energy work, everything that we think we know about spirituality, everything that we've heard other people say about spirituality, what our teachers say. And we're going to bring those earth and universal energies and hold that bubble. Again, all this spiritual information there. And we're going to start with really honoring that there's probably a lot of really valuable insight here. And again, probably lots of cool information that works for many people. And if it's not aligned for us, and if it's not aligned for this lifetime, we're going to honor that that spiritual information is great, but doesn't need to take up space in our aura. And we can like bless those energies up and let's just send them back to the earth, the universe, to the person that this information came from. And then that spiritual information that is for us is aligned with this lifetime's purpose. Let's allow the earth, the universe, and our guides to like bless those energies, heal, empower, expand them. There we go. And we'll just let those energies gently integrate. There we go. Letting that evolve our identity, our self-concept. Letting that gently like evolve our inner wisdom. Letting that evolve our relationship to our body, our emotions. Letting it evolve our relationship to our guides. And then next, we're going to make a little symbol to represent the lineages and the traditions that are in our energy field. And just let that little symbol fill up with, again, lineages that we've studied consciously in this lifetime, lineages that just happen to be in our aura across lifetimes, maybe ones we've inherited through our ancestral lineage. And the same thing, we're going to honor all of the spiritual information there. Honor that I'm positive it's contributed to so many people. And just begin to send it to the earth and the universe. Again, really honoring it. It's so important and valuable. But clearing it to make room for our authentic relationship to these different lineages. And so of the energies that are staying, one more time, we're going to let earth and universal energies bless them. We'll wash over them with earth, with healing, nourishing water. We'll wash over them with the element of fire and wind. And then allow all of this information to get updated, coming to current time, letting it be informed by your lived experiences. And then one more time, let that clear, dissolve, and integrate. And this time, let that evolve your crown and third eye. And let that evolve the boxes that this placed around how you relate to your guides, to guidance, to the subtle in general. And if there's any symbols, any like contracts or agreements in our crown that are no longer aligned, let's just make a little fire and start to send those symbols to that fire. We're going to wash over our whole aura and our crown in particular with earth, then with healing, nourishing water, the element of fire. And with that fire, we're going to clear contracts, we're going to clear cords, we're going to complete karma. There you go. And we'll bring the element of wind. And we're just going to let this gently evolve our energy field. Again, gently evolve our crown and third eye. And allow your authentic spiritual information, your authentic energies, begin to like fill out all that space that we made. And again, let this evolve your Akashic, your identity, your reality and belief structures. Let this evolve your relationships. And then as we open those capacities, we're just going to invite our guides to gently sit around us. And I love bringing a grounding cord so that as they sit around us, there's a lot of grounding, a lot of stability for them. And just imagine like you can give them a tour of your day, of your week. Of the neighborhood you live in, the current state of the world. And then with that as the context, we're just going to share with them who we are, where we come from, our hopes and dreams, the things that we're excited about. The things in our life that feel messy still. And just imagine that you can offer that to them. Vulnerably showing them what it means to be human. And just notice what they do with those energies and that information. And we'll thank our guides and just allow them to move into their respective place in the sky or in that 3 concentric layers of circles that we worked on previously. And then we're going to do the same thing with the earth. We're just going to say hello to the earth. And imagine that we could just reflect back to the earth its incredible generosity, beauty, patience, and offering to the earth a reflection of how incredible she is. And then one more time, just showing the earth what our day looks like, what our week and month looks like. Sharing our hopes and dreams, our fears, our growth edges. vulnerably sharing what it means to be human. And see what the earth does with those energies. And then once again, we'll thank the earth. We'll allow this process to clear, dissolve, and integrate. One more time, resetting all of our energy centers. Letting these energies integrate into our body. Letting our identity gently evolve. Letting our belief system gently evolve. Sending out that little spiritual text message to update our relationships. Allowing this to gently be offered back in time, forward in time, to evolve our timeline in whatever ways are appropriate. We're going to intentionally individuate. So we're going to recall our energy from one another, give one another our energies back. We're going to celebrate this container and imagine that we offer it out to the universe. So that if anyone, anywhere wants to relate to their guides in a new way, that this container becomes available to them. Helping them grow in a way that's easy, efficient, safe, sweet. There you go. And then we're just going to come back to the room that we're in. Landing sweetly back in our bodies. Bringing lots of sparkles and energies to help this integrate gently and sweetly. And boom. Good job, everybody. So questions, comments. I'm just curious what happened when you vulnerably shared your humanness with your guides, and when you vulnerably shared your humanness with the earth. What happened then? Anything? It transmuted into love. Nice. The earth could hold anything. Each guide had a different way to hold my vulnerability. That's beautiful. Yeah, what else? I don't know. This was very painful. Okay. Felt some guys take a step back to make space. Some guys get closer, becoming lighter. That was so beautiful. I was surprised by how excited I was to talk to them, how kind they were about my exuberance. Oh, that's awesome. Earth felt like a radiating okayness. They celebrated me, compassion for the human experience. They clapped. Perfect. Lots of grief and deep healing released. The earth showed me I was, damn, yeah. So these are a wide variety of experiences. So perfect. I love it. You guys are so cool. Saw the earth circle, saw them circle around me, give me so much love, felt mixed responses with my guys. Lots of warmth, humor, a little loving teasing from some. Yeah, that happens to me. I was shy to tell them about my day. Word, I was like, oh wow, we're proud. Can real people profit since we guides? I'm out of time, so I'm not gonna answer that question, but you can ask it again next week. But I was gonna say, like, there's all these unique answers, and like that's what engagement is. It's like all of our unique, self-determined, self-guided, like, connection, like it's like if I could start to make blanket statements about friendships, and I don't think you can, right? Like, maybe there's different kinds of friendships and we could make all these generalizations, right? But as we relate to our guides, it's just as we did. And the whole point, right, was that like our humanness is our greatest contribution to the earth and our guides. And that our humanness is infinitely valuable and precious to them as well. And that's why there's no hierarchy, because we as humans and them as not humans, we have something to contribute to them, and it's like we're hanging out with little kids. It's in asking them about their opinions that we get to receive something like incredibly beautiful, right? It's in relating to their innocence. If we were relating to kids around mathematics, then yeah, I know more math than they do. And yeah, they should like listen to me, these little knuckleheads, right? Because I know math and they don't, right? But when it's relating around innocence and beauty and play, then we're equal. And in fact, I can gain so much from them and like rediscover my own innocence. So similarly, through me vulnerably sharing my humanness, I contribute something to the earth and I contribute something to my guides. So y'all got to experience it. I talk too much, but I try to explain this stuff. So I hope it makes sense. We'll be here next week. A reminder, I have a 15-week immersion course coming up. It starts March 30th. I talk a lot in these, but my hope was that like I would just be breaking down practices, but especially with this really subtle stuff, I think it needs a lot of explaining for it to really like land and make sense. But for folks that are really interested in going deeper, these principles exponentially deepen as we continue in this work. And so that 15-week immersion is where I really break down all of these techniques. So if folks are interested, folks have been asking if they can come through it twice, and you can, and had come up with the agreement that you guys can go through it for half price. And if folks were a part of the first 12-week immersion, hit me up. Y'all are in a different agreement. So yeah, just let me know if anyone's interested in those things. These Monday meditations though are totally free. They're in a lot of ways to help kind of like us as a community build, and then also to help for folks that do, decide to take courses with me so that you guys can like hit the ground running, jump right into like the bigger energy work that we do. Cause sometimes I'd teach courses and people would like pop in and like pop a channel and it'd be too much for them. So I decided to do these Monday meditations to kind of help build some of that momentum that in the 15-week immersion will deepen. So anyways, I'll catch y'all next week. All right, y'all. Bye.